Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another Fitness Goal Friday. I'm so stoked that you're spending the time with me here today for another episode to learn about how to get closer to your fitness goals. If you're new to this part of the podcast, if you're new to this Fitness Goal Friday series, every single Friday for about a month and a half now, I've been releasing an episode to help you navigate a little bit better to get closer to your fitness goals, because during the entirety of 2020, I coached over 100 clients, I think, to get closer to their fitness goals. I did 5 group programs. I coached about 30 to 40 individual clients with my goal setting framework, and I learned so much. I think, to me, the best training ground, obviously, like, I had to learn the goal setting methodology that I wanted to use. I had to learn how to implement it. I had to learn how to get other people to implement it. I've obviously learned fitness principles and fitness ideas to get you closer to your goal. But through this year, I think I've learned even more from the clients that I've coached, because I've been able to learn what works for them, what doesn't work for them, what commitments they're able to stick with, what's not sustainable. I've been able to work see what resonates with them and what doesn't resonate with them. And throughout that, I've tweaked and revamped my program, and I've completely remodeled it and for a new launch here in the beginning of 2021, and I've been super stoked about it. Anyways, last week we talked about it's not about just what you do, it's about how you do it, because working out 4 times a week for an hour can look very differently for 2 different people, right? One person could be busting their ass for the 45 minutes, and they could be knowing exactly what workouts they should be doing. They could be wasting very little time. And the other person could just kind of be moseying around, do a rep here, do a rep there, like hop on the treadmill for a little bit. And it's like, for working out 4 times a week for 45 minutes could look very differently. So it's not just about what you do, it's about how you do it. But today we're going to talk about how learning from success is actually more important than learning from failure. And I think that's a little bit maybe of a contradictory idea, because I think so many people think, oh, I learn more from my failures than my wins. And the reason why that is because people think when they learn from their win, or when they win, that they don't need to learn from it. They don't need to go back and observe it, and they don't need to see what actually allowed them to win and do well. So people don't take the time to analyze their win. But when they lose, they know something went wrong, right? They know, okay, what happened here? So they spend the time to actually look at their failure, to analyze it, and make an adjustment. So that's why most people actually do learn more from their failures than they do from their successes, because they spend their time analyzing the failures and not the successes. But one of the things that I kept asking myself is, why do the New England Patriots, when they had Tom Brady, always win? Like, no, they don't learn more from their failures than their successes, because they never fail, they never lose. They learn from their successes, and that's because they analyze every single week what worked well. How can we replicate that this upcoming week? And I was so pumped, because I had thought that for a while, and then I heard Kobe Bryant on an interview. He got asked the question, you get the information more when you lose than when you win, right? And then he replied this: the answers are there when you win too. You just have to look at them. It's a constant process. It's exciting when you win. It's exciting when you lose, because the process should be exactly the same, whether you win or lose. You go back and you look, and you find things that you could have done better. You find things you've done well that worked. You figure out, how did they work? Why did they work? And how can you make them work again? I thought that was super powerful, because he, after every single game of his career, literally every single game, went back and rewatched it, whether it was a win, whether it was a loss, and he analyzed it. And when he won, he figured out what moves went well. What did I do pregame that allowed me to set me up for success? What meals did I have, right? And then I had this conversation with Hannah Huseman, who's a mental skills coordinator for the Philadelphia Phillies, and she preached the importance of this too, to reiterate the importance of this, is that she talks with their MLB players about, okay, when you have a good, let's say, pitching outing, did you analyze why it went well? Did you analyze what you did pregame? What was your pregame warm-up look like? What was your pre-inning warm-up look like? What did you have last night for dinner? What did you have this morning for breakfast before the game? Like, analyze why you won, because then you can figure out what you need to replicate moving forward. And so this is so applicable to your fitness goals, because one of the first things that I ask of somebody when they tell me they've lost weight, maybe they weren't my client, I ask them, how did you do it? What was your strategy? What were the most important things that you did that allowed you to lose weight? And if they're not able to very concretely tell me how, then what happens if they gain weight back? What happens if they gain weight back? If they didn't know how they lost the weight in the first place, how would they know how to replicate it moving forward? You see, so many times when people are progressing towards being successful, fitness goal or not fitness goal, they're not necessarily documenting what they're doing or their strategy to make them successful. And if you're not documenting it, then how do you know what you need to replicate to continue to be successful? Or how do you know what advice you need to give to other people in order to achieve the same success that you've been able to achieve? And so again, when you're going through your fitness goals, figure out what's allowing you to be successful, because if you lose that success moving forward, you can replicate that. But it even goes a level deeper than that, because a great situation or circumstance or example is, let's say somebody struggles with waking up to their first alarm and not pressing snooze and getting a morning workout in. And so they struggle with it for a long time. And then there's just 1 week for some reason where they do it 4 times a week. They get up, they don't press snooze, they work out, and they're really successful with that. My first question to that person is why? What allowed you to be successful with getting up, not pressing snooze, and working out? Like, why do you think that you were able to do that this time? Because in the past, you haven't been able to do it. And their answer might be like, well, I went to bed a little bit earlier. And I'm like, okay, so that helped. But what allowed you to get to bed a little bit earlier? Oh, maybe I finished work earlier. Or maybe I finished dinner earlier. All these things, right? You can go a level deeper to see, okay, what allowed you to be successful? Now I need to replicate that, because if she saw that what allowed her to be successful with waking up, not pressing snooze, and working out was the fact that she got to bed on time, or was the fact that she got to bed, or was the fact that she finished dinner early, or was the fact that she laid out her clothes the night before, then if she does that again, she'll increase the likelihood that she actually stays successful with that and continues to follow through. So look at those minute details. When you have a good day, when you have a good week, spend the time to sit down and reflect and ask yourself, why? What allowed me to be successful here? What allowed me to follow through? And then once you come up with the answer of that, once you're curious enough to solve the solution to that, then repeat it moving forward. Because only if you identify what allows you to be successful are you able to replicate that. So again, learning from success is more important than learning from failure. Last week we talked about it's not about what you do, it's about how you do it, because the details of your workouts, the details of your meals, the details are so important to get you closer to that goal. I hope you got something out of that last week's episode. If you didn't listen to it, make sure you go back and listen to it. Make sure you send this episode to a friend or family member who you know is chasing down a fitness goal right now, or you know has a New Year's resolution at the beginning of 2021, whether they want to lose weight, they want to pick up a heavier weight, or they want to be able to run a faster mile, because that's going to be my goal in the beginning here of 2021 starting in March. Because these are the things that are going to help them get closer to that fitness goal. And these are the things that are going to help them get closer and closer to your best you.